Hey everyone, Scott Player here, and I just did my Daredevil Born Again trailer reaction, and now I'm ready to do my full Season 1 review of Star Wars Skeleton Crew. This series has been a surprising freshness for Star Wars, mainly because this show, it's doing something different, right? And it stands on its own too, which I like. I like that it's not relying too much on previous Star Wars projects and having that not be the influence for the story of this, because these past several years, it just feels like Star Wars Disney Plus, it just keeps borrowing from Star Wars of the past, and it's not borrowing from outside sources that much anymore. And then you get this show, Star Wars Skeleton Crew, and it is borrowing from outside sources and not Star Wars of the past. And that's what I like about this series. It's taking influence from, say, for example, Goonies, or maybe like the first couple Harry Potter films, following this group of kids going on this adventure, an accidental adventure, by the way, because of what happens in the first episode. And, you're following the character of Wynn, Fern, Wynn's friend Neil, and KB, I think that's her name. You're following these four characters, and you just feel like you're a kid again, watching these four characters as this show is going on. And there's certain moments and certain levels of awe, especially from Wynn's perspective, as he's going on this journey with his new friends. And then they come across Jude Law's character, Jad Na Wood, I believe that's his name. And Jude Law, he's eating it up in this role. I always Jude Law, and wherever he's in, he previously did the Fantastic Beasts movies as Albus Dumbledore, and seeing him transition from Harry Potter to Star Wars is kind of funny. And he's eating it up in this role. He's kind of like, without spoiling his character, he's sort of like He's like Han Solo because he's a bit of a dirtbag, but he's force sensitive, and I think that's my best way of describing the character without spoiling him. But yeah, I think he's a very interesting character, and especially where they take his character in the finale. I was kind of glad that they didn't redeem him really by the end, and it was really interesting the way they were handling his character and also what his big goals were. He's in it for the money, by the way, greedy bastard. He's in it for the money. He doesn't care about anything else. And that's all I'm going to say about that. That is all I'm going to say. But I also think that Mick Giacchino, who is Michael Giacchino's son, he did the score for this series as well as the Penguin series. Mick Giacchino did that score for the Penguin show, and I think the score here is really good too. I think the cinematography is really well done, and I think the way this show just feels fresh. It feels also contained with its story, and I like that it's more contained and telling a more focused story about these group of kids, and that's not relying on other Star Wars. I appreciate that, actually. I really do, because it's telling its story, and it does it in a way where once they wrap it up, they could potentially do more with it and potentially cross over with other shows like Mandalorian, for example. And I think in a way, the way they handled Wynn's story, I think where he might go going forward is really intriguing, as he's always wanted to be like a hero, for instance, helping people. And by the end of the show, they kind of end the final shot of the episode with him just looking up at space, basically, and also a New Republic ship coming in, and that just tells you what you want to know about his character for the future, and I like where they ended that story for him, and this coming of age story for him in this series, and where they leave off Jad-Na Wood's character and where he might go, I think is also very fascinating. I think he is probably the one that will probably return in future projects. Definitely, I definitely see Jude Law having a bright future in Star Wars going forward, especially if they cross over his character with Mando, for instance, or Ahsoka. So, and if for those of you that are curious, this show takes place, I'd say, around the same time as Mandalorian season 3 and Ahsoka season 1, within that same time frame, I believe, that this show is taking place in regards to timeline placement. So yeah, and also there are a few other characters in this. I loved the droid in the ship. What was his name? 33, something like that. 33B, I don't remember the droid's name, but I liked his character. He was a fun droid throughout the series as this kind of droid that was part of this ship that had been crash landed on the planet of Aden for who knows how long, hundreds of years, I would assume. And, seeing this kind of mystery of that planet that Wynn and his friends are from at Aden, and some of the reveals there throughout the series, especially in the later episodes, it's kind of, like I was saying, it's going into that kind of Pirates of the Caribbean swashbuckling, treasure finding kind of vibe, and some of the reveals that we get of this mystery for the planet kind of goes into that kind of territory of being this treasure finding journey for Jad-Na Wood's character and his goal. I think is really fascinating, and I like that kind of story for this kind of pirate themed story throughout the season, and it kind of tackles another aspect of the world of Star Wars that we haven't seen much of, and it's really fascinating. I hope that this show gets another season. It was a very satisfying season, and definitely a palate cleanser from previous projects that we've had recently. And I'm really excited for Star Wars going forward. There is a lot more to look forward to. The Mandalorian Grogu movie is happening, and I'm really excited for that. So if I had to give this series a grade, I definitely give it like an A. I don't really have too many flaws with this series. I think some of the pacing, maybe in that first episode, was a little bit slow. But other than that, though, I thought this was an amazing series. I give this show an A grade. I thought it was that great. And yeah, so that will do it for my review of Star Wars Skeleton Crew Season 1. I have a feeling that they might do a second season, mainly because with where they ended this season in the last episode, it didn't, conclude the way I would expect it to. And it felt like there were some loose ends that weren't completely wrapped up in that finale, and which is what makes me think that we'll get a season 2 at some point. But therein lies a problem for a second season. When you have a show based on a group of kids, the actors age fast, and it's that Stranger Things effect with a show like this, and you do another season. So hopefully if they do a season 2, they can get that production to go as quick as they can, because those characters are going to grow and age faster than you might think. So we'll see where that goes. And that should do it for this review. Thank you guys so much for watching. Great day for you guys today, getting 2 videos from me with Daredevil Born Again and Skeleton Crew. So yes, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.